good evening, and welcome in to yet another Monday Night Live with Double Dog Prepper. I apologize for not having last week's live stream, but we are here now, so we can talk about the things we're going to talk about tonight. If I could get a 5x5, let me know that I'm not talking to myself. I greatly appreciate it. Can anybody hear me? There we go. Scott Hummer, Sherry 2A. All right. All the 5x5s coming in. Thank you. Now let's say hello to my people in the chat. Dana, let's prep. Thank you for the 5x5 and welcome in. KP Heathen. Robert Bates says 8x8. Creative Redundancy says I won't judge anyone that thinks 20F is cold as it's all relative. 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Ken Corso, welcome in. Rabid Coyote, good to see you. And there's Scott Hummer. Oops, I was gonna talk about that, so give me a minute here. Gunner Sergeant 67, welcome in. Semper Fi, brother. 19 in the chat. PJ, welcome in. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got in here. I think I hit everybody here. Go up in chat and see if there's anybody else I didn't see. All right. I think I got everybody. Ghost Lincoln, good to see you, brother. Cafe Bustela infused pancakes topped with bacon and maple syrup. Yum, yum. Interesting. Billy, good to see you. Good evening to you as well. I don't normally drink coffee this late, but it sounded good, and so I'm drinking coffee. Cool. Ghost said I also put peanut butter on them. All right. I had hamburgers with fries and mozzarella sticks for dinner tonight. So what else we got? I think I caught up with everybody. So I see that we all survived this winter storm that hit, and the topic for tonight is not about the storm that just hit, because obviously it's done with here. For those on the East Coast that are getting hit with it now, hopefully you guys are at home and got everything that you need. This is just a generic, winter storm warning, and to talk about things that maybe most people don't think about, and or my thoughts on it, and then we can talk. Maybe you think of it a different way, but anyways, to give you an update here in my neck of the woods, we got about 10 inches of snow, which is probably the most snow that we've had here in quite a long time. I'd be interested in seeing what you guys have received. So if you got snow through this last storm that passed, I'd like to know how many inches you guys got. So put in the chat how many inches of snow you guys received. I spoke with my brother yesterday. He lives in Texas, and he got quite a bit of ice. So luckily the lights are still on for him. But Robert Bates said EcoFlow problem unit brand new out of the box is at 0 and will not charge. Waiting on tech support. after trying all the tricks. Oh, that's not good. Billy, you didn't get no snow yesterday or the day before? This last snowstorm that came through? Wow. Oops, got 6 inches of snow, 2 inches on top of snow, crusted, and will hold you up. Snow, no steps. All right. Fort Worth is still covered in 2 inches of sleet and ice, not much snow. Yeah, that stuff is crazy. Grit and Grace, welcome in. Good to see you. I see Tammy Harder come in. Tammy Harder, hello. Good evening. Ghost Lincoln says over a foot of snow in some areas. 20 inches. Wow. That's a lot of snow. Ohio's not used to getting that much snow all in one time. Daniel Prep says in Hudson Valley, New York State, I only got snow 18 to 24 inches. My friend got 10 inches in Long Island. I wonder how much elevation plays into it. I'm sure it has a little bit to play in it, but at the same time, you guys are used to that there in New York. So, but that's a lot. You got 18 to 24 inches from this last storm that came through. That's a lot of snow all at once. Billy says nope. Wow, you lucked out then. Just cold, she said. I saw snow more last month. 1 foot at least twice. Wow. Gunner turned 67 says 0 inches of snow. Perks of living in North Florida. I paid for it through during hurricane season. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Uh, just got in. Speaking of snow problem, just saw a truck slide off the road due to the driver speeding and a dip in the road before the railroad tracks. Yeah, people kind of lose their heads when it snows or ice. They especially it never fails, especially idiots in trucks that have 4-wheel drive. They think that 4-wheel drive is going to be the saving grace in a storm like this. Yes, it'll get you through snow, but when you're on ice, it ain't gonna stop you. Nothing's gonna help you on that. So I like seeing these guys zoom by. I'm taking my time being safe, and they zoom by. And I mean, I have a 4-wheel drive truck, but I'm not out being stupid. But they'll zoom by you, and then mile up the road, you'll drive by, and they're in the ditch, and you just smile and wave. Came course 1 inch of snow here on Thursday, colder than which is tits of the brass bra ever since. Minus 29 Friday and Saturday morning. Holy cow. Now, is that the actual temperature or the real feel with the windshield? Ghost says in my area, one snowflake falls from the sky and everybody turns into a complete dingleberry and can't survive. You want everyone else to take care of them because it's cold and snowy. Yeah. Teresa got 14 inches in her town. Kemal Carl, welcome in. Good to see you. Are you folks going to see sun or above freezing temperatures anytime soon? Not here. I was just looking at the weather before I started my live stream, and I let it load up, and I'll tell you what my temperature is going to be here. See who else we got coming in here. Good concern. 67 is originally from Alaska, so I have had more than fair share of snow. Yeah. All right. So here's the forecast for my the next several days. It's supposed to get down to -1. These are actual temperatures. -1 tonight, tomorrow, 18 with a low of 0, 12, and -1, 14, -9, 9, and -7 on Friday, 16, 2, 19, 7, 21, 11. So it's going to be a little cold, and the wind chill is going to be like, I think they said -20 to -30 degrees. So Southern Day, welcome in. Actual temperatures, Southwest Minnesota. Okay. Ashland 85, welcome in. Good to see ya. Blue Butterfly. Summer Sun F6D, welcome in. Uh, Sorry if I missed anything on here. I'm trying to catch up. 15 is the highest all week. Yep. Let's see, I'm trying to catch down to the bottom here. So yeah, I had a snow blower that I had gotten probably 6 years ago and haven't used it. All right, I'm at the bottom of the chat. Okay. 6 years ago I bought the snow blower and I used it once before this snowstorm. So I was happy to get out and use it and not just to do a little bit of dusting of snow. We actually got quite a bit of snow, and so my neighbor across the street is in her 80s, so she had just bought a new snow blower, and I asked her why she bought it, and she's like, "Well, that way you can do my driveway." So obviously, I did her driveway to help her out. Not that she was going anywhere. But, anyways, all right. So now I'm caught up on chat. Let's get into the topic for tonight, winter storm warnings. Are you ready? Okay. So I made a list of some things that you need, and I'll break it down. Katrinka, welcome in. Um, and we'll talk about it a little bit here and there. Um, Mad Cat, welcome in. So Microwave, good to see you. It says 10 degrees with wind chills -4 degrees here. Just going to get cold at night. Yep, absolutely. All right. Ghost Lincoln says we're going to find out who's prepared or not. There you go. So when I Googled, winter storm survival tips, and it talks about, have at least 3 days of food. I think for the most part, everybody in my chat here has got more than 3 days of food. I mean, we are in the preparedness mindset. So I would hope that everybody has more than 3 days of food. If not, if you're new and just getting into this, that's where we start. You start off by 3 days, and then 10 days, and then 30 days, and then 3 months, and then 6 months, and a year. So, but speaking about food, so what we did here is knowing that the storm is coming, um, because there's always that possibility of power outages and stuff, is we like to pre-make meals. So um, before the storm hit and during the beginning of the snowstorm, I made sure that we had several meals made up in containers in the refrigerator because, in my opinion, it's easier and takes less fuel to warm up food that has already been cooked versus cooking food from scratch without electricity. So, um, so we did all the meal prepping for a few days. Um, Not that we're out of the woods with it being really cold. There's still snow coming the next couple days. Not as much as we just got the last couple days, but so pre-make uh, food. That way, for one, you have food already cooked, and it'll be easier to warm it up. So the next one will be water. Obviously, the things that we're talking about is your basic. Everybody knows what we need stuff, but I want to put my spin on it and how we go about doing it for storms like this or anything. Bottled water, making sure you have bottled water, making sure you have your water jugs in your refrigerator full or your storage or whatever. Um, Another good idea that my wife came up with, well, not that she came up with it, but she suggested it to talk about too, is if you know a storm is coming and that there's a possibility of power going out, to fill your tub up with water or use those water bobs, or I think that's what they're called, to fill them up to have water. Now, obviously, if you're not, and we had a discussion about this because she's saying that your toilets and everything like that won't work. Well, I had to get into it with her, not argue, but to tell her that we don't need power to flush our toilets and all that kind of stuff. Um, what she was talking about to bring up is if you're on a well, all right. So if you have a well, then obviously you're not going to have water, and that's where she was going with this. So, if you are on a well and need electricity to provide you with water, to make sure that before a storm happens, if you know that it's going to happen, to make sure that you fill up your bathtub and whatever, get as much water as you can. That way, that you have water. All right, bushcraft, good frozen pipes, none of the plumbing works. Yep, absolutely. I hope that that's not what is happening with you, or you're just suggesting that it's something to talk about. But and I will get to that. So, um, hold on a minute. All right, where was I at? Okay, so we talked about the food. We talked about the water. Warm clothes. Obviously, all this stuff that we're talking about is common knowledge, but um, sometimes we need a refresher. With the snow, going out and shoveling your driveway or helping your neighbors, obviously dress warm. Make sure you have a hat on. Make sure you have your face protected. Another thing that I didn't do earlier today is went out and was shoveling snow and helping. Sun's out, white snow. You can what they call it, snow blindness. So I went and got my sunglasses and put those on, and it, excuse me, and it helped. So um, make sure you have all your safety equipment on. Your gloves, your hats, your boots. Make sure you have good socks on, um, and stuff like that to stay warm, to stay dry. So Robert Bates says, "Sun's out, guns out." Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to happen here when it's minus 11. So, but anyways, make sure you have plenty of warm clothes and all right. Um, Blankets. Make sure you have plenty of blankets. Make sure you have blankets in your vehicle, obviously. Um, but in a storm, you're pretty much not going to be going anywhere unless you absolutely have to. So make sure you have blankets, extra blankets in case the power goes out. And I guess that's where I'm going with this. When storms hit, whether it's the hurricanes or the snowstorms or tornadoes or whatever, um, if you don't have, I mean, if you have power, it's easier to do everything that you need to do to survive. Obviously, with storms, you take that risk, or there's a risk of the electricity going out, and knowing what to do after that and how to survive is where I'm going with this. When does Mrs. Davidoff make her appearance? Yeah, I don't know. She's up crafting right now. Um, and if my grandson Freddie is watching, hello. Um, he he was the one that was calling on my phone. So 3 years old calling. I've seen it. The comments on the chat about your water and knowing where your shutoff is. That's extremely important in case you got a water pipe, or, a burst or something like that. So making sure your outside faucets are unhooked of hoses. Um, at the beginning of this winter, I was going around double checking. It had gotten below freezing a few days, and found my one hose was still connected to the back of the house. So, and it had burst on the end, and luckily it didn't freeze, but it had burst on the end, and who knows, it might have been running for a couple days. And so then when I get my water bill the next month, it was probably $60 or $70 more than I would normally uh, pay. So it had been running for a little bit. But anyways, yeah, make sure that all your stuff is winterized. Make sure your hoses are off. They sell covers that you can put over the spigot head and whatnot. So I have those on mine. Going back to my list, flashlights. Make sure you have flashlights. And I wanted to get to this because um, everybody has their everyday carry flashlights. Everybody has these, or not everybody, but uh, I promote having these solar lights. Right, they're pretty bright. So I was at Costco the other day, and I went down one of the aisles while my wife was in looking at the clothes, and I come across these um, light bulbs. And you're like, Devil Dog Prepper, they're light bulbs. Yes, they are light bulbs, right? So you screw them in, just like it's a light bulb, right? But the only thing about it is these don't do any good during a storm if you don't have electricity, right? Well, these are magic light bulbs because if you screw them in like this, they work. So they've come up, and I don't know how long this has been out, but these light bulbs have a rechargeable battery in here. So you can charge these in a normal light socket for 10 hours, and then you can use them as a normal light bulb. And so then when the power goes out, they don't automatically come on. They come on when you turn the light switch off. So Rabbit Coyote says, I have flashlights that are plugged into the wall outlets that come on when the power goes off. Yes. But these come with a little socket that screws on here. And you can hang it anywhere you want. And you just turn it on. And you have 10 hours. They last 10 hours. So absolutely, I have. Campbell Carl said Curly did it with his mouth. Yeah. Well, as the Ohio gang says, don't put your mouth on it. I've got some of those, and one actually popped and melted in the socket after fully charged. Holy cow! Be careful! Don't buy the cheap ones. Yeah. Backup lights and solar options are a good primary source. Yes. Um, Last Christmas they had solar Christmas lights. Um, so I bought some of them, and I put the solar um, panel. It's about this big. I put that in the window and charged, and then at night they come on, and you have lights. So that's a good option. Obviously, flashlights, everything like that. Um, yes, you're correct. Especially electricity. Never put your mouth on it. Yeah, that would not end well. All right. So you got your flashlights and or candles. Obviously, if you're using candles, and everybody should have this anyways, because in a storm and your electricity goes out, you're going to be using um, other things to cook with, i.e., butane or isobutane or propane or natural gas if you have that hookup or whatever, or wood. And with that being said, you need to have fire extinguisher or some way of assisting. They have these blankets that you can put over pots that can grease pots. If grease fire starts in your kitchen, you can put the blankets over it. Um, but it's always good to have a fire extinguisher and know where they're at and make sure that they're ready to go and that they're not bad. All right. So, for all of those that didn't know, fire extinguishers can lose their prime or whatever, and they go bad. And then when you go to use it, nothing happens. So, Michigan Outpost 2312, welcome in. Good to see you. All right, so we talked about food, water, clothes, blankets, flashlights, your generators. Make sure that you're getting out there and maintaining them. Mine is a dual fuel, and so I can either run it on gas or propane. So I make sure that I have plenty of propane. Make sure my tanks are always full, and then obviously have plenty of gas on hand to fill those up. Winter storms, like down south where KP Heathen, did you guys lose power down there in your area? I know I've seen on the news where they lost power down there, but um, when you're using your different ways of cooking and heating and lights and stuff, you got to think the safety aspect is of that as well. Especially if there's children around. You have candles and it gets knocked over, and the next thing you know, your house is on fire, and now you're out in the cold. Yeah, not good. So KP says nope, just rain and freezing. Okay. But speaking of the generators, making sure that it's ready to go. I went out to start mine right before the storm, and it wouldn't start. So it had been probably 5 weeks or so since I started the last time, and my garage is heated. So I was trying to think of different things. Somehow the battery terminal on my, because it's a push start generator, it somehow got loose, and I don't know how because it's brand new. It only has like 5 hours on it. Um, anyways, that's one of the things that I need to get is a backup battery. Also, I put my trickle charger on that to keep the battery in good condition as well. And Ghost Lincoln, yes, you brought up a good point. Carbon monoxide. All right, so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about as well is making sure that your vents um, are cleared of snow. And obviously, you should check on them anyways because sometimes maybe a bee will make a nest in it or whatever, bird or something. Um, so you have your exhaust vent for your water heater or your furnace or your dryer. Um, Make sure that those are clear and snow's not building up, because if you have a natural gas appliance, as of the water heater, gas stove or dryer, or a gas furnace, it, and it's plugged, then now you got carbon monoxide building up in your area and you're not going to wake up. So, but Ghost Leakin brought up a good point, having a carbon monoxide detector to let you know if there is a leak. Ace, welcome in. Good to see you. Sorry, I haven't been up with the chat. PJ says we got 4 days of rain here, then it froze, tornadoes in our area. Now temps are falling 24 and feeling like 14. Wow. So I kind of just threw a bunch of this stuff together to talk about because, I think we all know how to survive this kind of stuff, but some things you don't think about. Um, Making sure that the fire extinguishers are in good working order, just in case. Knowing where your stuff is at is a huge thing. Ghost Signal says I turn on electric area and I still have a carbon monoxide detector, so they actually lower than the mattress. Okay, yeah, that will work. I think I have one downstairs and I have one upstairs, and then I have one in my garage because I have a gas fireplace in my garage. So, but anyways, ways of cooking. Make sure that you have all this stuff ahead of time. Make sure you know where stuff is. I have all my survival stuff like that in these totes. Um, I get them out, start them up, make sure that they're good to go, um, and then if I need them, and then also I have a fireplace that I could use if need be. Um, but just having different options and obviously knowing how to do it. All right. So, and then ways of heating. How are you going to stay warm if the power goes out? That's why I said make sure you have blankets. And then I know people have talked about this, about the water lines bursting and stuff like that, which is why you need to know that where the shutoff valve is and stuff. So, Robert Bates says bike combination smoke CO2 detectors, but also have plug-in battery backup CO detectors. Absolutely. Carbon monoxide is heavier and settles to the ground, enables it to build up. That's where it becomes a problem. Always keep your carbon monoxide detectors lower than your head, especially while sleeping. I will I'll have to change mine because mine, well, obviously I don't have one in my bedroom, but mine's in our laundry room where the furnace and everything is. So CR says remember to melt snow or ice. A little water with it can help. Remember to melt snow or ice. A little water with it can help. You may not find busted lines until thaw happens. Yeah. And that stuff makes a mess. Absolutely. Another thing, let's see where we at on time. 35 minutes. Okay. Jennifer Ocean Homestead, welcome in. Good to see you. I will drop a link if anybody wants to come up and discuss anything else that they think is important. I just wanted to go over some really quick things, making sure your cell phone is fully charged, making sure if you have the battery banks, make sure that those are charged. All the basic preparedness survival stuff. Um, ghosts suffered from carbon monoxide poisoning, and I lost people because of it. So I'm very particular about dealing with that. All right, that's good to know. Vanessa, welcome in. Good to see you. If you guys haven't done so, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and share this out. At some point, come back and leave a comment and help the channel out. Camel says, that's what I'm doing right now, charging everything. Absolutely. I made sure all my lanterns that I have are charged. Make sure all my phones and battery banks have been charged. And I was just looking over here, and oops, it brought it up. So with I have not got anything mailed out yet, and I apologize. I'm going with a new shipping. I don't know how to explain it. It's a website that I can go on and use them to get a discount on shipping, not only for my 12 days of Christmas, but for my woodworking stuff. Um, so it's just been a lot harder getting this stuff set up. I had to buy a scale and a laser printer to print out the labels and stuff like that. So I will be working on that. I have not forgot about you guys. I will get it sent out, and you guys will get your gifts from the 12 days of Christmas. So I appreciate your patience. And CR says this is important. Absolutely. You know, nobody here in this chat nor I know everything there is. Um, so it's always good to have a refresher. One, it keeps it at your front of your mind, and then something that you might forget about. So there's certain things that I didn't think about. You know, the whole meal prepping. I started thinking, well, what do we do if the power goes out? Obviously, I have ways of cooking, but they're not to the scale of having a stove. And so I wanted to, I was thinking, Joe Dog is going to start eating your packages in your general direction. Yeah. Rabbit says, do you remember that I won the freeze dryer, right? Yeah, no, you didn't. Nice try. You have to fight vision preparedness for that one, okay? So, but I got what have I got in it now? Oh, trying candy in it. I want to do these Jolly Rancher ropes. Not that it has anything to do with survival because you don't need that stuff, but it helps with morale. And speaking about morale, if you have kids or grandkids, or even if you don't, have games around for power outages and storms. You can't go anywhere. It's cold out. You got a foot of snow. You come in from shoveling or getting wood, and you don't want to get bored. So have games, cards, a deck of cards, um, just stuff like that, puzzles, books to read. Freeze dried candy, comfort food, and pepper crack. You decide. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying slowly but surely to get some candy worked into the freeze dryer. So Rabbit said freeze dried Skittles. Oh, where did it go? Freeze dried Skittles are a must for shift. Yep. I like hearing dogs in the background. I love them, but don't have any. I enjoy the furry family. And that's another thing with these winter storms. Even in the summertime, when you get tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff, you got to take care of your pets. With it being this cold out, my brown dog, who doesn't have very much hair or fur on her. uh, she's so funny because I'll open the door up and literally have 10 inches of snow on the back door, uh, and she goes out to go get in. As soon as her nose touched the snow, she turned around. She's like, "Nope, this ain't happening." So make sure that you are taking care of your pets or your farm animals. If you have chickens or cows or pigs or whatever, make sure that they have a place to get in out of the cold. Um, so, um, what I did is after I cleared the back deck off, I went down the steps, cleared all the steps off, and then I shoveled the grass. I shoveled all the snow off of a spot in the grass. That way they wouldn't have to go to the bathroom in the deep snow. So, not that the one dog is very tall, so she would get lost in the snow. Had the fireplace going early Sunday. Yeah, that's one thing that I failed. I chalk it up as a loss this year. I didn't get nobody out to get a insert put in. Um, it just wasn't in the budget this year. The whole losing the job thing kind of put a damper on quite a bit of things that I wanted to do and get done. So I will have to put it on my list of stuff to do next year. So we made a trail through the snow so my brother's dog could have a place. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, and this is my own personal opinion. Um, hold on a minute. I have a Siberian Husky. He can survive 35 below weather. He loves winter. Yeah. So is he indoors or is he an outdoor dog? Does he stay outdoors? So my opinion is, even though dogs can survive outdoors, um, there's no way in hell I would ever have a dog in a cage outside. That just, I don't know. My dogs are like my favorite children, and it's funny because my one daughter asked, she's like, "I know you're my favorite, or I'm your favorite," and I'm like, "No, actually, I like Mila, which is my brown dog. I like him better than all of you." So yeah, so the neighbors call the cops, and you have to have a blanket on them. It's good to see you're back. Just saying, yeah, it's good. I really wanted to get my live going last week, but it was not in the time. So, but still dealing with the headaches. I got a call the other day. I got to make an appointment with the I'm gonna butcher acupuncturist. Is that how you say it? To get acupuncture. Um, we'll see how that goes. I would have a pet outside. I would or would not. I'm trying to keep my side, but he loves to be outside. I mean, uh, depending on the breed of dog, they can be out more than others. Um, it just my two dogs are not outside dogs. I mean, they like going outside, but they won't stay out long. So Camel says if I find a dog chained up in this cold, he will be freed. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I know what you meant. But yeah, yeah, take care of your pets. Make sure that they have fresh water. That's a part of your survival and your preparedness journey is making sure that you have uh stuff for your animals too. So The dog is going to visit the pokey doctor. Yeah, I've never had acupuncture done, so we'll see. We'll see if it works. So, um, I was out shoveling. I told the Ohio group this on our chat. I was out shoveling, and I went around the front of my truck and totally ate it big time. My feet slipped out underneath me. I went airborne, and I landed on my back, and as my ass and my back was hitting the ground, I freaking smacked the back of my head on the bumper of my truck. Luckily, it was the back of my head and not the front. So, um, yeah, I didn't lose consciousness or anything like that. So I had a headache for the rest of the day and the day after that. So Ghost Lincoln is on a roll tonight. I hear the acupuncture doctor is all about the pins and needles. When I house set for my friends many years ago, shadowy black lunatic hound got on the bed and had to sleep next to my wow. Yeah, our dogs sleep in our bed. They sleep right in the middle. So I'm not afraid of needles. I'm not a big fan of them. There's no way I could be a junkie, that's for sure. But at that same point, I'm not scared of needles. Um, my thing is where are they going to put those needles for my headache? So because just touching this area right here, just going like that, sends uh, shock through the whole area. So, but we'll see. And then there's a new headache doctor that my neurologist wants me to go see. So we'll see how that goes. Ace says poor truck bumper probably suffered a concussion. That's right. The truck got the concussion, not me. I'm glad everybody came in for this live. Um, it's something to think about, and I hope that you guys got something out of this. Um, doing lives on YouTube makes me think of things that maybe I wouldn't have thought about normally. So it's good refresher, a good reminder. Sherry 2A says, I puppy set for my friend's dog. She sleeps on my bed with me. Yep. Would that be classified as head on collision? Yes, you're right. Absolutely. But yeah, so eat only when hungry, drink only when thirsty, rest when tired. Well, I agree with the hungry part, but if you're waiting until you're thirsty, you're already behind the curve. All right. So um your when your body, and this is of course my opinion, I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, just everything that I've learned through the Marine Corps and everything. Um being when your body tells you that it's thirsty, it's you're already dehydrated. All right, so you need to make sure that you're drinking prior to that. I drink water all the time, not just when I'm thirsty, but just to keep myself hydrated. Which, if you're out shoveling snow or chopping wood, or you're out doing your farm or your homesteading stuff, you're gonna burn a lot more calories, and you're gonna be needing more water than you normally would, especially in the cold temperatures. So thirsty only of rum. There you go. Dr. Pepper. Yeah. And I really don't drink a lot of pop anymore. With this new lifestyle, I'm not going to say diet because, in my opinion, diets don't work. But my lifestyle change. I'm trying to cut out as much sugar as I possibly can, um, knowing that I'm still going to have a certain amount, and there's certain things that comfort foods that I will still eat um, in moderation. Um, my biggest thing is Oreo cookies every once in a while, and that was a big downfall. And one of the reasons why and I'm not saying the only reason I gained weight, but uh, one serving of Oreo cookies is 3 cookies, and it would be nothing for me to sit down and eat a whole sleeve of them and not think twice about it. So, yeah. So now I have it in my forefront of my thinking that if I do have Oreo cookies, I'm only going to have 3 of them, and that's where your will to want to lose weight or stay healthy comes into play because you got to tell yourself, all right, one serving is not going to kill you, but 7 or 8 servings might. So, moderation. PJ says I drink a lot of water and my lemonade. There you go. And they can't say you drink a lot of coffee, so you're drinking a lot of water, even though it's all water, basically, plus then the flavor of the coffee and everything. Um, no, you can go and that can dehydrate you because it's a diuretic. So, Blackbird says I'm going to have to give a hand of growing some saffron this year. There you go. Speaking about growing, it's almost time. I think I got 5 weeks until I start my seeds. Yep, coffee is a diuretic. Absolutely. You got to at least drink a gallon of water a day. Would you? Basic vegetable, fruits, and meats if you want to stay healthy. Yep, there you go. I remember eating a whole bag of soft cookies called Soft Batch. It was too pain in my stomach, and I haven't done that again. Yeah, I mean, you got to have some comfort foods. You got to have some stuff that helps boost morale, especially in the wintertime. When depression and stuff like that kicks in. If you're stuck at home and not being able to do the stuff that you normally would, are used to, um, I don't mind going out in the cold. Um, Actually, I think the cold actually helps my headaches versus the heat. So PJ drinks coffee too. There you go. I drink coffee mainly in the morning. And that's about it. Except for tonight, I had a cup. So food to feel the metabolic heater inside of us. Absolutely. And in the cold, you need to be mindful of the stuff that you're eating, making sure that you're not eating a lot of sugary stuff. And Gamma wants to know if I ever tried freeze dried Oreos. No, I have not. You use cold for your chronic migraines? Yeah. So when I was out today, and it actually helped, and that's when I realized that when I went outside, I had a major headache, and so when I don't know maybe half an hour out in the cold, it kind of dulled it down a little bit. So good luck with growing saffron. Here buying it is very expensive. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what saffron is. Cold does nothing for my cluster headaches. Let's see what else we got here. Frostbite can really hurt. Yes, I can, and that's why I said, if you're going outside, making sure, and I guess I didn't talk about this, dress it in layers. Um, put multiple layers on. If you're working outside, before you go out, dress in layers, and then as you heat up and you start to get warm, before you start sweating, you can take some of those layers off, because it's easier to put layers back on, and if you need to stay warm. But if you keep all your layers on, so this is one of the things that I learned in the Marine Corps when we did cold weather training, is in the morning when you got out of your tent and your sleeping bag, the first thing you want to do is put all your clothes on, put all your layers on, and then you go out and then you start overheating, and you can't put more clothes on. If you have all your cold weather gear on, you can't put more on. So before you start overheating or before you start sweating, take some layers off. That way your body can regulate its temperature. So, but make sure that all your skin is covered if you're outside for whatever reason, whether it's to do your chores or your shoveling, or you're cutting wood, taking care of the animals, or if you're out uh, having fun, snowmobiling or whatever. Um, the cold and the snow is not always a bad thing. There's good things. I remember as a kid we used to go sledding and stuff like that. So I mean there are some good things, and that's one thing about life. Not everything is doom and gloom. You got to enjoy life and you got to have fun. So, but when you have fun, you still got to be safe. So, Micro Wolf says comfort food: blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, full of antioxidants, full of vitamins, cranberries. Absolutely. So, a part of my nightly routine since I started, and by the way, I'm down 10 pounds now. So, um, and I've been doing this for, let's say, 20, 26. So, I've lost 10 pounds in 26 days. But a part of my nightly routine, instead of eating stuff that's not healthy or whatever, I eat yogurt with granola and fresh strawberries. So that's what I try to do. And obviously, drinking plenty of water, and lately have been uh, on the move, shoveling snow and in the wood shop. So thank you. Thank you for the congratulations. It's it's tough, but I need to do it. So my quote says I get my seeds from Dollar General, and online they work great. Oatmeal is one too. Yes. Yeah, I'm not a oatmeal uh eater per se. There's oats in the granola that I eat, so I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's just not a bowl of oatmeal. So you drove the generator through deep snow a couple hundred feet today. Had to take off my coat to prevent sweating. Absolutely. Some things you don't think about. You want to keep all your clothes on. You think that you need to keep all these clothes on, but the more you move around, the more heat you're creating. You have to take it off, because when you start sweating, then that's when the cold could get you. So y'all have a great night. White has to go outside. Much love, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm. Absolutely, PJ. You have a good night yourself. Got about 2 more minutes, and I'm gonna call it a night. Um, Ghost Lincoln, have you ever push blade on a self-propelled? Oh, have you ever put a push blade on a self-propelled? There you go. Rolled oats are better, in my opinion. There you go. Steel oats are the best. Cream of wheat. I like cream of wheat. That's good. I wish I liked oatmeal because there's so many varieties and they smell good when others make them. Yeah. You can buy freeze dried blueberries, strawberries, bananas, cranberries, raspberries. All your vegetables and fruits can freeze dried. You can buy. Yeah, I've been doing that. A lot of my extra vegetables and stuff that I had from this garden season, I freeze dried. Um, Also, when I don't have fruit trees or berry bushes or anything like that, so I have to buy all that stuff. And so when I do on sale, or if I go to the greenhouse when they're in season or whatnot, I buy extra and freeze them. But now I'm starting to use the freeze dryer to put more stuff back for the wintertime. So cream of wheat with ghee and molasses is awesome. There you go. I feel like I feel like a Siberian husky with 3 coats of fur on. You must need 6 coat layers of clothing do you stay warm. Oh, to stay warm. But I have hit my hour mark, and there's 8 people in the chat, so a lot of people left. So they must have got tired of hearing me talk. So I'm going to call a night. Everybody stay safe out there, stay warm, stay inside, don't go anywhere if you don't have to. Um, I tell my kids if you don't need to be out, don't be out. You're just putting yourself at risk and those that would have to come out and save you. So, with that being said, folks, I appreciate you coming in and spending an hour with me. Um, keep doing the things you're doing. I will be back again next Monday at 8 o'clock with more things to talk about. I might see you in other people's lives. And if not, like I said, 8 o'clock next Monday. And until then, stay safe, stay vigilant, stay prepped. Have a good night.